Director IIT Kharagpur, dignitaries of the dais, and my dear friends. At the outset, I must say that when I got this invite to attend this conference, I realized that Parliament is on. And when the Parliament is on, we in the ministries, the Joint Secretaries, there's a big process to take approval to travel outside Delhi. I asked myself, what is my motivation? I mean, to take that approval, to go through that journey. And I realized that there are two motivations. The first motivation is to meet two persons whom I wanted to meet since I joined this ministry in the month of August. One is Professor Ray. Dr. Kannan calls him the father of distance education in technical education. I wanted to meet who is this father of distance education. Second was the director. So the last 3 months in informal chat in ministry, outside, I would say, is Director IIT Kharagpur part of your process, of your mission? Is he actively involved in the mission? You must get him. He has a lot of positive energy. So I heard so much about him. I wanted to meet him in person. So I have achieved my first objective. I met both of them. And the second objective is what Professor Raghavan has said. He said, there's so many people who want to be part of this mission. And they will not come and meet you. You have to reach out to them. So I thought maybe I could use this as a platform to appeal to few of them who are present today, who are not part of the mission, that please be part of this journey, please be part of this mission. And I would like to take all of you through this presentation, which is primarily two parts. One is what we have achieved till now, and the next part will be what we are planning in the next 4 to 5 years. Technical education in India, it's a big challenge. Just to give some numbers, the year we got independence, the intake in technical education sector, which is from polytechnics and the engineering colleges, used to be 2,500 per year. And today, this year, the official intake, which was announced by AICTE, was 3.4 million. So the journey from 2,500 to 3.4 million. If you look at this issue from the people, from the professors and the lecturers, the challenge before the professors in 1947 was to train, to give a quality training to 2,500 students every year. Challenge in front of them today is to train 3.4 million students which are coming to this higher technical education every year. Now that's a big challenge. And we know the related challenges to this: vacancies. We don't have a large number of vacancies. The qualified lecturers are not available. And in the year 2010, the government of India thought, is it possible to use ICT as a tool to handle some of these challenges? And the two parallel, keeping that in mind, two parallel projects were launched. One was NME-ICT, the professor told, National Mission on Education through ICT, funding of around $1 billion. And the second was National Knowledge Network, again a funding of $1 billion. Idea was, using these two projects, can we use ICT as ICT tool to address the issues in higher education? And the core of the project was, core of the mission was that the student is at center stage. We will not distinguish between a federal government college, government of India college, state government college, private college, aided college, irrespective of whatever the college is, the nature of college is, because the student, the child is at center stage. Everything which we are envisaging in the project will be extended to that student. And this project has primarily three big components, which are basically the components of technology enabled learning, enhanced learning. The first is the network itself. It was thought that every university in the country will be given a connectivity of 1 Gbps, And every college, standalone colleges which are outside the university campus, will be given the connectivity of 10 Mbps. Today, we have around 400 universities, we have given the connectivity of 1 Gbps. We have given connectivity to 20,000 colleges with 10 Mbps. With the universities, it was also thought that we'll extend the LAN, we'll also give the support for the LAN in every university with 400 nodes. So this is what we have achieved as far as the connectivity is concerned. Once this connectivity, primarily it's all part of a network, of an intranet, virtual private network. And the idea was that we'll have 4 big data centers at 4 different cities: Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Calcutta. And then we have a cloud on top of it, and we'll host all the applications which we develop in this program. And so that every student in the campus, in the universities or in the campus of colleges will be able to access all those applications which are primarily part of technology enhanced learning. And then we started developing applications under the project. Idea was we will fund those applications in the project, and then all that applications which we fund through Government of India will be available to every college, every university, government, private, aided, state university, free of cost to all those colleges, and through the colleges to the students of our country. We developed applications. Some of the applications which we developed, the first was the video conferencing. There are a large number of applications available in the market, but we looked at, can we develop an application which is primarily suits the higher education needs. And one application which was developed was A-View. You can see the picture. It's a Professor Phatak from IIT Bombay. So in this application, there are many features. One such feature is that you can actually open 3 screens at a time. I mean, we can have an e-classroom situation where one nodal center, one institute can have an engagement with other institutes, and a professor can open 3 screens. He can actually, professor is visible in one screen, the other one is where he can use his presentation, PowerPoint presentation. Third is he can use a whiteboard to have interaction. We have rolled out, we have put this type of application, we have trained around 3,000 colleges for this application. Idea is it should reach out in the next 5 years, it should reach out to every college and university in our country. Then the second challenge was to develop the content, and particularly the content in technical education was a big key. And whenever we talk about e-content, the issue of quality, whether there is a quality, the e-content is available or not. The conscious call was, the second part of this application also was to have an interaction, start a program called Ask a Question, where the students of the colleges which are in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities can directly interact with the professors in IITs. IIT Bombay started this program. Today, every Tuesday, 3 to 4, the Department of Professors of Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Bombay, they are available to take questions from the students who are in the engineering colleges, polytechnics, in the colleges in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. They send the question in advance, they interact during the 3 to 4, between 3 to 4 every week on Tuesday. I understand that IIT Kharagpur is also planning to start a similar program in the next 2 to 3 months. And our big picture is all the reputed institutes in different areas, we must get them and do this Ask a Question program, Ask a Question program. As for other content which I was explaining earlier, the idea was in the technical education, let's consciously bring IIT on the center stage, let us involve them for making the content. The ministry requested the professors, the faculty members, the directors of IIT, and they accepted the request of the ministry to develop the content. Idea was if the content is developed by the professors and faculty members of IIT with the help of other colleges, NIITs and other colleges, the credibility of that content in India will be very high. I just take a quote from Leslie. who is an anchor, TV anchor in CBS channel in US, in famous show of 60 Minutes, it's a weekly TV show in CBS. She said, if you want to get this, that's what the perception of the students in engineering colleges and technical colleges in India. She says that if you want to get a feel for how does a common student feels for IIT in India, is similar as a student in US feels if you put together Princeton, Harvard, and MIT. So that's the brand which over a period of last 50, 60 years, the IIT, all the professors in IITs together, they have built for IIT. So the professors were used to develop this content. And the first one was the content, the NPTEL. All around 16,000 lectures in different disciplines. Whether it's a mechanical engineering, electrical, computers, civil engineering, metallurgy, for all such branches, 16,000 video lectures, each of a duration of around 60 minutes was made. We have also started, we have also done the mapping. As you know, most of our colleges are owned by the states. So we are also doing the mapping for every state, that around 16,000 these lectures, which ones are part of their curriculum. That mapping process also we have started. Looking at the popularity of NPTEL, it's clear from this chart that till June, this figure is not as up to June. Professor Mangal has to help me in updating this. The number of hits, looking at the popularity of NPTEL, YouTube came forward and gave space to NPTEL. And you know, the YouTube has two type of, if you upload the videos, there are two type of videos which they recognize. One is commercial, second is non-commercial. And the importance of the videos. For example, if the YouTube has a policy that if the size of the file is beyond X, then definitely advertisement will come. NPTEL lectures are the only lectures, only product from India where the channel was given and there is no commercial. So if you go and if you type YouTube/IIT and you'll have list of all the 16,000 lectures, and if you play any of them, none of the ad will come. And the YouTube hits itself was around 10 million till June. So that's the popularity of all these lectures. The second one was, when we talk about technical education, the whole discussion is about labs. Again, the IITs came together with the help of NIITs and other colleges and said, we will develop the virtual labs. And these labs are primarily of two types. One thought was that we have very good equipments, very costly equipments, which should be used by the students who are in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. These equipments are available in IITs, NIITs and other important engineering colleges and universities after 5 o'clock, and it is not used after 5 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, before 10 o'clock in the morning it is not used. So the idea was, can we remotely access these equipments? And the projects or programs were built, the labs were built. There are a large number of equipments in these colleges now which can be remotely accessed by the students after 5 o'clock on weekends. That's one set of experiments were made. The second was the simulated package. The idea was that the important experiments can we make the package so the student can practice, can get a feel. Definitely we cannot replace this with the actual experiment, but before actually going and doing the experiment, can the students practice on these simulated packages? It requires a training. Till now, around 1 lakh, which is around 10 million students have already been trained. And the idea is in the next 2 to 3 years, around 3 lakh students, 3 million more students, 300,000 more students will be trained. The third product, we have done around 200 products in this mission. I'm just talking about the big ones during my presentation. The third one was the spoken tutorials. The spoken tutorials, the idea was, can we create a tutorial? Can we create a tutorials which enhances the employability of the students, which enhances the employability of students in technical education or a student who is in higher education sector, a student who is in polytechnic, engineering colleges, MCA, in computer applications. And 500 different topics were identified, and we made the spoken tutorials were made by IIT Bombay in the different in 500 different topics, accepting the reality that because we are looking at the students in all level polytechnic colleges, it is important that these tutorials should not only be available in English, it should be available in the regional languages, in the mother tongue also. These 500 tutorials have been dubbed in 22 different regional languages. If you look at the usage, you can see that this is the figure up to 7th October. In 2013 itself, around 841,000 hits this page views the spoken tutorial portals project got. The next was the issue of entrepreneurship. When we look at the issue of entrepreneurship, if a group of students, group of friends want to start a new company, want to start a startup, there are primarily two costs. One is manpower cost, and second is the cost towards purchasing the software. And it was realized that for the technical education students, the buying licenses for technical software like MATLAB, it's a costly affair. There is the availability of a free software, free open source software, Skylab, but the Skylab software is not being used. We don't have manuals, we don't have examples, we don't have proper manuals to popularize Skylab. Therefore, a project named Textbook Companion was launched, where around 500 books, with examples of 500 important books in engineering. Yesterday, Professor Kannan is here. I was asking him which was the first book. He said 3 books. He told me one which I remember, which I also used when I was a student, was Engineering Mathematics by Krzyzek. So if you look at all the important books in engineering, the examples have been, the coding has been done. I'm sure Professor Kannan will be discussing about it during his talk. And the idea is the next 3 months, the 500 more books also, the examples will be available. Idea is that we make this available to the students start practicing Skylab, and once they pass on and want to start their own company, the resource which now the students use, the money which they pay to buy the license for the costly software, that cost the future generation students need not pay. The next was the availability of e-resources, that is books, e-books and e-journals. We extended this to around 500,000 students, to around 300 colleges. Idea was that we buy one time, we bought one time around 85,000 books and around 15,000 different journals we have subscribed. But really we want to extend this facility to every college and every university of our country. Till now, around only, as I said earlier, 500,000, 5 lakh students are using this facility. They have access to e-books and e-journals. The mission also talked about that India should gear up, the country should gear up and look at the areas which are going to emerge in the next 7 to 10 years. And start working with the colleges, with the university, with the state technical boards, and make those areas part of the curriculum, the regular curriculum. And one such area which was identified was the embedded system. The idea was that by helping the different colleges which are in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, we set up a small robotic lab, and through that, around that, we teach the students embedded system. We give the project, the students take the project, and they learn this embedded system course. Till now, this transfer of know-how to set up these 50 labs, these labs have been done in 50 colleges, and the idea is in the next 2 years we'll do it in 300 more engineering colleges. The third part of it, one was connectivity, second was content development, application development, and third was the last mile connectivity. If we don't give a student an access device which is available with the student 24/7, 7 days, 365 days in a year, whatever we have developed is of no use, because ultimately we are talking about students or a child being at center stage. Then it was thought that yes, there are large number of laptops, tablets, desktops in the market, but can we design a tablet which primarily looks at the needs of our students of higher education? The tablets which have many features, but perhaps all those are not required. This project was taken up jointly by IIT Jodhpur and IIT Bombay. And there are other IITs also and other colleges also joined. And we procured, we designed it and tested it by giving it to around 1,100,000 students. These tablets were given in 400 different colleges. The testing was done, the test report is out. It has recommended some changes in the specification. We have incorporated that. It has also said that with those changes, yes, this tablet can meet the basic requirements of a student in higher education sector. And the idea was we're looking at access at the low cost, and it is available. The costing which the project finalized was, which will be roughly around $50, around 3,000 rupees, which will be around $50. The way forward was, we had a lot of inquiries from different colleges, states, universities. Yes, we want to procure it. The idea was that centrally, let's impanel vendors who at the request of the colleges and university and state, the central university can go and then deliver these tablets. We are in process of finalizing those vendors. Our expectation is by 20th or 25th January, we'll be able to finalize not one vendor, list of vendors. We are visualizing a situation where each college will have a choice of around 10 to 15 vendors, and the college or university can directly place orders for those vendors. This is one such experiment in IIT Bombay with the Akash tablets. The next is the road ahead and challenges. The first road ahead, I'll talk about road ahead, the new projects which are in the pipeline in the next 1 year. One is, we want to reach out to the student through all ICT needs. Keeping that objective in mind, we're visualizing a situation where we'll also reach out to student through DTH method. For that, we have taken space in satellite. We are in process of launching 50 channels. We visualize a situation where every field, let's say engineering, there will be a channel on electrical engineering, a channel on mechanical engineering, civil engineering. For that, we are planning to set up studios in 130 different universities and colleges, the top 130 universities and colleges in the country. We have a backbone available. As I said, we have a network available. These studios will be, because all universities are already, colleges are connected through the backbone of 1 Gbps. We'll have this 130 studios, and through that, we will deliver the live lectures and we'll run the 50 channels. We are in the process of getting clearances. Tomorrow we are signing our agreement with Prasar Bharati, which is the broadcasting, the television company, government company, broadcasting company. We are entering into MOU with them. Now our idea is by July next year, we want to start with this 50 channels by having this 130 studios in the different universities. The idea is that after these live lectures, those lectures will be available on a portal, and the student can use it at his convenience, his or her convenience. Second, we are also looking at the Government of India level. Can we bring technology-enabled learning at the center stage by making some policy intervention? In the reality, we know the reality in the field. There are many colleges where a person who graduates this year starts taking classes of third year and fourth year students. If that is the situation, because of, and we argue that it's better than not having anybody. Situation you don't have anybody. Second situation, you have somebody who just graduated this year and started taking classes of third year or fourth year students. For particularly those type of faculty members, can we make technology enhanced learning, technology enabled learning as a mandatory feature? So we are looking at that issue. At the policy issues, there's a lot of implications. It's not a simple issue, not a straightforward issue. We have been asked to consult different stakeholders. So we are in process of consulting different stakeholders and want to come up with a policy of mandatory technology-enabled learning. The third project which we want to take up in the next 1 year, we know that the history of distance education in our country, it started with Delhi universities in 1965, but the open school, open college concept started in our country in 1985 when the Indira Gandhi National Open University was set up. The IGNOU, which we call Indira Gandhi National Open University, primarily looks at the courses other than the technical education. And the argument was that to have an open university in technical education requires a different ecosystem. When we talk about technical education, we always think about labs, on-hand experience. Therefore, the ecosystem which is required for open university for technical education is different than what is required for the other non-technical education. Therefore, the expectation and I think the whole thing started when the NPTEL started. I was told that there was a conference in Chennai which was attended by all directors of 5 IITs, directors of 4 IIMs, and I think the faculty members of CMU from the US also came. And idea was, can we set up a technical university, technical open university, which has the same branding which in conventional education IITs in India. Can we build a virtual university or a virtual technical education open university, which in years to come will have a same brand, where we said that, when we said that, Leslie said that it has, in India it is MIT, Princeton and Harvard together. Can we build a technical education open university which in years to come, the same brand, it's equivalent to, for India, equivalent to, I know, Japan Open University, UK Open University, which, two open universities come to my mind. So that was the idea, that's the project we want to pursue in the next 1 year from the ministry. Also, we have portal where all that what I have talked about is available. But can I make that search engine of that portal more user friendly? Can all the text, all the video, audio which we are loading the portal, can I provide a good search facility, advanced search facility to the students so that they can navigate that portal through that? Because again we are talking that we have done so much within the project, but the whole discussion within the ministry, which is justified, is it being used by the students? Till it is not used by the students, none of us who has been part of this process gets the oxygen. You get the oxygen by looking at the usage. It's like when an administrator in the field, you construct a flyover, but you just see the flyover, but when you start seeing the cars, being on the flyover, it's a different feeling. So definitely the usage is our center stage. So we are looking at developing this portal for higher education students of India. Challenges, definitely network, the connectivity, the speed of connectivity, the quality of connectivity is central to the whole what we are talking about. Any type of discussion which I have with university vice chancellors, the principals of colleges, the professors, the moment whatever I say it doesn't make, I realize when I discuss with them, I know what inside is that you look at your network, the reliability of your network. Unless I have network, or what we are talking is of no use. You understand from the ministry point of view, the connectivity, good quality, if you're talking about 1 Gbps, yes, the 1 Gbps connectivity with minimum downtime is available. It's central to the project. Our argument from the ministry side is, yes, we have built the network, but we have to provide redundancy. If you look at the defense, Ministry of Defense network in our country, they have been built the redundancy of 1:1, which means in other words, every DRDO lab in our country not only has connectivity which they call it a loop from one service provider, they have that loop from the two service providers. So if you go to any DRDO today lab, they'll have a connectivity from BSNL, they will also have a connectivity from Airtel. So one loop from BSNL, which is 2 path, and the 2 from Airtel Reliance, so 4 path. If the DRDOs of our country have that 1:1 redundancy, we believe that education is the main player in our country, education department, why our institution should not have the same facility. So that's our argument from our side. We're planning to go back to Cabinet, asking Cabinet to permit us to build this redundancy in our network. So that's one challenge, and we are sensitive to this. One of the other projects which we want to take up is we want to also have a platform, MOOCs type of platform, which Director was talking about. And we are visualizing this platform because we are realizing that there are large number of professors, they have a product, they have a course, and they really want to reach out to the students of this country. They believe that this product, this course is useful for the students of this country, but they don't know how to reach out to them. So there has to be a platform available to the best professors of our country in different fields. If he has a course, reach out to the students. This platform should do 3 things. One is allow him to run his program, his course on this platform. This platform should also allow him, if he wants to conduct examination, it should give him the facility to conduct online examination. And if he has come to that platform saying that I have come along with this industry, this particular organization, or I myself want to give a certificate on this program, this platform should enable him to give the certification and store those issued certificate in a short form, in e-form. So we are visualizing that platform, that this platform will come, and then we will request, for example, there are a lot of requests we keep getting, and we don't know what is the platform available. For example, area of cyber security. The policy of cyber security says that in the next 6 to 9 months, if you look at government department, every department should have, which they call it cyber security manager, for which they have defined that what all he should know. It's a very basic, which means that a municipality, transport department, every state department, local government department should have this cyber security manager. The CDAC, along with, they work with I think 9 IITs, they have prepared the course. But how to certify? They don't know how to go about in certifying this 500. The need is 500,000, 5 lakh such cyber security managers they want. But they know how to do it. If you had this platform, the course was ready, certification, somebody was there to say that we want to certify it. But if you have some such platform, perhaps this can also be used for running those type of certification courses. This is all from my side, the ministry side. I'm very thankful for putting, I saw that schedule, there's a specific discussion on NMEICT. I look forward to deliberation of this conference. I was telling Professor Kannan, with this, in my present posting, I have covered all IITs, visit to a campus of all IITs except my own alma mater. I must visit, and it has been a great learning experience visiting Bombay, Delhi and Chennai, and today in Kharagpur. I request those who are not part of NMEICT, as the director was saying, it's a journey, it's a mission. We talk about these 2 things, as I'm sure that you must have read in paper, the 2 big things which we talk about. One is the NASSCOM report, which says that only 25% of the students are employable. The quality of higher education in India should gear up. Definitely, technology-enabled learning is one such solution. The second big thing which we talk about is in the next 10 years, we have to train 500 million people, skill training. I'm sure that in all that journey, it can be done by, and I mean, there are so many, that's what Professor Raghavan told, there's so many, I know, not only competent, the people who are really want to be part of this process are around. So I request, I urge upon each one of you to be part of this journey. I think during the next 2-3 days, they will tell the structure, how to be part of this mission, how to be part of this journey to help the people of our country, the students of our country, to be more competent and employable. Thank you very much.